What's up, guys? It is FBA happy hour. It is Friday. I am with Drew. Michaela is, I think she said she's bidding on a house, so she's going to be late. So when she gets here, What's going on, man?
Nothing too much. I've been sourcing a lot lately. Decent day today, so yeah, but
That's awesome.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been picking it up a little bit lately. It was like definitely like a grind slash like a lull, like I don't know, probably like the beginning of March, but now I feel like it's starting to pick up, starting to see like cash back, like sales, like all that stuff starting to like roll around again, which is obviously always helpful.
Yeah, I've noticed. I think like in January and February, it's always supposed to be slow, and I knew it was going to be slow, but then it started being slow, and I was like, man, I'm just like struggling. But in reality, you just gotta like wait for the opportunities and not like push it too hard and just like butt your head against the wall trying to find stuff when like if you just wait like another month, like you're gonna find stuff. It's just like it's tougher in January and February.
It definitely is. And I think a lot of people, especially if you're on like social, like you just worry about, oh, like the orange bars and all this other nonsense. And like it forces just like crap buying. Like I think I stopped buying like maybe like the end of February to like the beginning of March because I was just like, this is stupid. Like there's just no point. And then yeah, like kind of just taking like the mindset from like arbitrage ops and like all the other people who are like, whatever, dude, like make your money in like Q4 or like back to school or whatever, and just kind of like hang out and kind of not maintain, but don't spend money just to spend money, because then like when the next Stanley Cup comes along and like you don't have money,
Exactly.
you're screwed.
Yeah, that's how I made that tweet about that yesterday. It's like if you break down the math, you can make like $3,000 a month for 10 months and then just bust out like a 60, 70 grand profit month and you just cleared 100K for the year. And if you just like didn't work all year and like didn't, you know, get yourself in tight money situations, you could just kind of save money, just collect that 3K profit, not like work to grow and then just dump it all in at the end of the year. You just make a ton of money, which I know some of those toy guys do that anyways, but
Oh yeah,
you might be shifted not to make 3K a month, but like not trying to push 250K months or 300K months, but just like sticking around the 150K month range, and then bust out a big thing during seasonal times and just work way less and make maybe even more, because I'll be like, I know I have to work super hard at this point. So
yeah. What's up, Armand? What's up, Joji? Who's here? Put your name in the chat and where you're from. Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting times, and like yeah, I'm doing like a big restructuring right now. Ever since January, like mostly after I moved out of the warehouse, then it was like February. It's like, let's get. Oh, Michaela's here. What's up?
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries.
It's an interesting day.
What's going on? What's up, 610s lifts? Portland. Do you just put a bid on the house? You don't know?
Yeah, I won it. I bought a house online.
Did you really?
That's nuts, but yeah. Yeah, I won.
That's awesome. Congrats. So that's your second then.
My alcohol.
Oh,
yeah, it's actually like. What'd you say?
What is that? What are you drinking?
It's cream soda.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's not beer. Ask John. I don't drink.
Yeah, in Miami, she's like, no one better steal my pop. She brought her own pop with her.
I did. I brought my own like
but I mean,
of what is that stuff called? Inca Cola.
Yeah. So Jesus.
Sorry to interrupt that. You were talking about something. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, congrats. That's exciting.
I'm just waiting on to hear back as long as it met the reserve. Then I got it. But I can't imagine it didn't meet the reserve. But
what website was it?
Like high bid. It's for my area. So like, well, it's not really my area, but there's like it's an hour and a half away from me. But it's ran through my realtor. He actually was the one that's overhead of it, so he told me about it.
Sweet. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. What have
You
you
don't
been up
drink,
to,
yeah,
Drew?
it's supposed to be happy hour, right?
Yeah.
Happy
His
hour,
name is
no
on-
drinking.
Yeah, so I'm doing like 75 hard right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's day. I don't even know what the hell day it is. I think it's day 12, maybe. Yeah, it's day 12. I don't know. I'm like, it's definitely good, but it's just very time consuming.
Yeah, it's
Is that
good.
an Amazon lit shirt?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get an Amazon lit shirt?
I'm an influencer. I'm special. No, at the not this Miami 20.
I was gonna say I want to have
Look
an
at
Amazon
Miami
lit.
2022. He gave me one. Eric gave me one.
Sorry,
I didn't know if anyone would notice. Like on my screen, it's like so small, but
it's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Michaela
Don't
like
mind
eats
me.
lunch during these. She gets the
I have,
happy
like,
hour like appetizers.
minutes to spare.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe because you called it that, I might just drink on here and just go nuts. But no, I was like, you know what? It's too early.
Yeah, I like thought about that too. It's like, oh, actually, we had in our Discord, we had a question that we never answered, so we could start with that. Zoom. The wrong one. What else have you been up to, Joe?
Really just like mentally adjusting things. I've been like just in a mental struggle of like what I'm trying to focus on this year and just like going through it that because I don't know, just a lot of different things. I'm talking to so many people nowadays, like at so many varying levels. And I get like all these ideas about like what you want to do. And then, you think about like, do you want to start private label? And I've been thinking about like a business that you can actually exit and if that's more worth it to put your time into. And there's different kind of things like that. But I'm really not even doing much. So I guess I'm just thinking for no reason, but we'll see. Maybe I'll take some action here soon. Well, time will tell.
No, I feel like it's good to like think about those things though, because like obviously, like if you're gonna get into private label, right? Like you're gonna have to drop like 10 or 20 grand or whatever you're gonna do. So like definitely probably think that through a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna drop like $200-300 online on some product that like whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, I'm like kind of in the same situation where it's like I really like doing the coaching and building that up and doing YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, I like selling on Amazon too. But yeah, it's like, oh, like for arbitrage, I feel like there's a ton of opportunity, especially as I think there's gonna be more. Everyone always makes the argument that like more and more people are coming in, but like one, like more and more people are quitting, and two, like they're all going to wholesale or supposedly or whatever. So I think that will definitely create like more opportunity for arbitrage. But yeah, I think that's the hardest part is like my day is just absolutely insane. Like it's just like, between content, running the Amazon business, I was training a VA, let him go. And then it's just like in general, like running like the Discord. It's just like there's only so much time in the day. And it's like, well, like how do you allocate it? And it's like more and more for me, it's becoming like what do I enjoy doing? And not so much like, well, like, yeah, I could sit on my computer for 8 hours a day and just like buy stuff, but like it's like, like I'd rather do stuff like this all day.
Yeah. And you have to like I've noticed like the focused hours. Like, yeah, you have like 8 to 10 hours, I guess, but how many hours are you gonna be focused? So it's like where do I allocate where I've started the coaching as well? It's like, do I allocate like these 3 hours to like really become a really good teacher and teach these people stuff, but not buy stuff for myself? Or do I use the 3 hours for that? And then if I source for 3 hours, my brain's like fried. So I don't even want to talk to anybody, but I have an obligation to do that as well. So it's like finding a big balance with that. And then like recently I switched repricers from like Go Aura to Seller Snap. And that's like a whole task in itself because it's not even close to like Go Aura and Be Cool. Like Seller Snap's a whole different ball game. So trying to figure that out. And then that takes a lot of hours because I've been getting on calls trying to figure that out. But it all comes with time, I guess, trying to allocate my time as good as possible.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Like, yeah, there's only so much of it. There's only so much focus. And it's like, yeah, like you said, it's like, well, like the whole coaching thing or whatever. It's just like our first guy, he just hit like 10K. And I was like, damn, like this is all like it's just like shit. And he's like so happy about it, and like he just can't wait to keep going. You're like, damn, like that's like pretty cool. Like he didn't even know what Amazon was, and now he's doing like 10K in sales. I'm just damn, like awesome.
Yeah, that's quick progress. Congratulations if that guy's watching. Good stuff, dude, for that.
Yeah, Mario, if you're watching, you're the man. Good job.
A lot of people can't do that.
How often do you guys audit / adjust repricing? For me, probably like weekly, sometimes daily, depending on if it's like a hot item that like requires a lot of watching of repricing. Then I'll maybe check it a couple times a day. But mainly I'm just kind of setting mins and maxes and kind of just letting the repricer do its thing. Then after like the 60-day mark, then it's like liquidation / break even time for me.
Yeah, I gave an answer on this somewhere the other day, and I posted it and then just kind of thought through it. It's like a way different answer for someone like at scale where you're doing like over 100K a month or 200K a month and you have all these ASINs rather than someone that's just getting started. Like I have a guy that's kind of a beginner and he doesn't have many ASINs and he's like, should I get a repricer? And I was like, yeah, it's worth it. But then I thought through it and it's almost more worth it to kind of see where your prices are and like learn what's happening with the prices at the beginning. And it's the same thing when you first get a repricer. You shouldn't like when you first get it, just let it rip. You got to like kind of see what's going on because your buys just might tank immediately. And then you just keep adjusting that repricer. But in reality, you just made a terrible buy and you're never going to notice it if you're just like waiting and liquidating it. So yeah, weekly is what I do, maybe 2 times a week. But if you're at the beginning, I would reprice like daily because that selling is just as important as buying. You got to sell it for the right price and like know your competition and know all that kind of stuff.
I check multiple times a week. I should do it like weekly. I probably overdo it a little bit, but
I feel like I was the same way, but like once I got comfortable with GoAura, that like it was set up fully and like correctly, like wasn't making errors, I was like, okay, like, this is like kind of set.
I just have trust issues.
What repricer do you use, Michaela?
Be cool. I want to switch to SellerSnap.
100%. I'm going to shill for them big time. And I have no affiliate link or whatever. That I switched over and I just like couldn't even believe it. I got on a call with the rep guy and I was trying to ask him questions, but I didn't even understand it fully. So all my questions just end up being dumb. And then he explained to me that it's different than like GoAura and Be Cool. Like they have this AI thing that they're not just like matching the lowest price and going. They're like trying to get you a certain percentage of the buy box. And I don't know, maybe they just fooled me with the marketing, but so far I can already see my sales increase after like a day and a half. And it's not even supposed to have like that quick, but just it's so much easier to just get buy box and some of this stuff. And
I've not heard anything bad about it. So like
same.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the price that you know what I mean. Like it's expensive and people just
yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to switch it, especially just try the free trial. Like you won't be disappointed with it. I think it's going to make me way more than $500 a month by what I can just initially tell.
Yeah, if you can offset the cost, then it's perfect. Then.
Do you guys run coupons? Yeah, I have a bunch of coupon plugins that just kind of. I don't do the whole like kind of like catch-all thing. It like pops up. I just put in the promo code or whatever. I just use as many times as I can, and yeah, that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah, same. But again, it's like my last answer with the repricer. I'd say if you're a beginner, because where I'm teaching these beginners now, I'm noticing stuff that I kind of talk about on social media. And I'm like, that's kind of terrible advice sometimes to a beginner. Because if you have the capacity to just spend an extra 30 minutes, hour a day to loop those coupons and try to get as many orders as you can, well, if you're making $0 a month, it's worth it to make like 700 instead of 100. But like in my point, I don't want to do that. But if you have the time and the capacity to do it at the beginning, it's extremely worth it to do it.
I don't use coupons anymore because I use wholesale. But I did.
There you go. Yeah, it's crazy how many like actual coupons that are like out there that just like Capital Run Shopping just like runs. You have like no clue that stuff is on sale. Hey guys, what inventory app do you recommend? And when you transition from Amazon inventory, do you do both simultaneously? When you transition from Amazon inventory. I use Inventory Labs and Seller Board kind of together. I'm not sure what you mean with transition from Amazon inventory. But yeah, I use Inventory Labs and Seller Board together.
I just use Inventory Lab. But I don't know what he means either by the transition part. But
you have to look at your inventory in both Inventory Labs and
Seller
Seller Central, if that's what you mean.
What if they just mean from Seller Central? Like instead of doing it on Seller Central, you switch it to Inventory Lab?
Oh, Inventory Labs will automatically sync all your inventory. You just have to enter your buy costs into Inventory Labs. I think you could do it by a spreadsheet too, if you know the costs.
Let's use Seller Board.
How do you make relationships with wholesalers? How do you contact them, and how often? That'd be a question for Michaela.
I mean, obviously, the best thing would be to cold call them because talking to somebody on the phone is a lot different than just emailing them. Emails can be read in a totally different tones, and you really can't set yourself apart too much regarding emails. But if you get them on the phone and you ask them a little bit about themselves, kind of warm them up, and then tell them a little bit about yourself, show them how serious you are, and you're just not one other Amazon seller if you're going to go that route. But that's my biggest advice is to just get people on the phone. But if you can't obviously get them on the phone, then you're just going to have to cold email them and just start emailing. How often? It just depends. Like if you want to build a really good relationship with the supplier, then you want to be in contact with them frequently, not overboard, not like stalker, like I'm calling you every day to ask you how your day is kind of thing, but you want to be in the back of their head, like they're thinking about you. However, it just depends. Like some of my suppliers I talk to on a daily basis, and even on the weekends, they're dedicated.
Yeah. Do you do any wholesale, Joe?
No, actually, I've like had 3 opportunities that are like pretty decent fall into my plate, like with 3 different suppliers. One, like from what I've gathered, is trash. 2, the next person's like they haven't hit me up since I applied, but it was going to be a good thing. And then the 3rd one is like a pretty lucrative opportunity that if it works out, I'm going to make a lot of money, but I don't know if it's going to work out. It almost seems like too good to be true, but I can't even give much detail on it because it's just like a random thing. I just got put in the position, I guess. I mean, you'll have random wholesalers like DM you on Twitter and stuff once you grow your like Twitter and stuff like that. That's not really what I'm trying to do, but you kind of just run into opportunities sometime if you're not even looking for it, which I'm not looking for it at all, but it just kind of came to my plate.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical when people are like, or with books where they're trying to be like, oh, like I'm getting out, like you want my inventory? I'm like, no, like it's all trash.
One of my best suppliers, he hit me up through Instagram. So
interesting.
Exactly. It might just fall into your plate if you like post content, and then sometimes you're just networking with people, and they're like, "Here's a supplier." Like this, I had something crazy happen where someone was questioning like this supplier, and they sent the link, and it ended up being good. And I'm like, "Well, you just gave me the like supplier."
Yeah, to be honest, if I had like a wholesale like company or just like a brand that I wanted to take on Amazon, I would just follow everyone on Instagram and just send them DMs and be like, hey, if you can figure this out, like it's yours. Like we're going to do an exclusive, just you. And then like you'd probably find someone within like a day or 2.
Definitely.
Obviously you'd have to vet and stuff like that, but Drew, tell us about your coaching.
Yeah, I don't want to shill for myself too much here, but I don't take any beginners on. And it's mainly like, I guess it's kind of evolved after like the 2 months I've done it. It's really just a sourcing school and then whatever other questions you have. But yeah, I don't know. I can't give too many details or whatever, but if you.
This is like the Drew hour. This is the Amazon happy hour.
Yeah, this is the happy hour.
I'm joking.
Exactly. I'm not trying to show.
Who signs up for Drew's coaching?
I'm just trying to eat my Subway.
Drew could be the sponsor for the Amazon happy. Still running Seller Snap free trial. Very promising. Interesting. I'm like now, like you guys have me thinking maybe I should be like looking at.
I've been thinking about it for 3 months now. So
do it.
How is the transition over?
I've
like,
been talking about it This is for Miami.
I transitioned. That's weird, but I started the free trial like 10 days ago, and I saw the dashboard and I was just in full panic mode. And I was like, all right, I'm probably not even going to switch. And then the guy reached out to me and he said, you want to book a meeting? And then I just saw all these people like keep talking about it. And I booked a meeting with him. When they explained it, I got it all switched over in like 3 hours. So it's like, and I have a lot of ASINs. So if you have less than me, then you'll be like super quick switching over. And you'll see results. Like, I'm not kidding. Maybe this is just like placebo because I didn't like Aura very much. It's doing well, very well.
It's worth a shot. It's a free trial.
Yeah, you won't regret it 100%.
What you lose is nothing. Well,
Yeah,
I guess your time.
Yeah, that's always the hardest thing. Like, I get hit up in the DMs all the time to try new software, and it's always like so tempting. But then it's like, well, like it's basically like, hey, we'll let you try it, or we'll give it to you for free forever, and like if it works good, like you could promote it. I feel like it's always just like it's always a weird situation because I've done it like 3 or 4 times and it just hasn't been that good. So then it's like a very awkward to be like, yeah, I'm not going to promote this. Like, because like, I don't know, I'm not for sale. Let's just say that.
On that note, I had somebody hit me up and it's like, he has a sheet, like a Google, it's like, not a sheet. It's like through Airtable. And it's like a whole admin like database. And I just took the call just because I was like, let's see. I mean, I'll promote it if it's good enough. And I got on and I was amazed because I've been wanting to get things more organized and keep track of everything. And I've been wanting to switch my VA over. And this is like a whole layout of it. I'll send it to you afterwards.
Yeah,
like, but it's probably something that I'll be promoting because I think it's super good and it's really, really cheap for like what it is. It's not like a per monthly cost. It's just an uptime cost. And then you just put this stuff in. You could really just have a VA run the entire thing where you could just go on vacation and just have somebody run all this little stuff. It's pretty cool.
So like in the Instagram ads, that's what will be how it will be.
Yeah, probably.
Sweet. That's what I'm looking for. Michaela, how's the prep center going? You still accepting applications?
It's good. We're growing very fast, way faster than we thought. We've hired on new employees. We've added on space. Like the prep center is totally different than what it was when I first visited back in November. So I got to get back out. But yeah, we are still taking new accounts. Usually it's the first of the month when we accept people. But we did a YouTube live. It's on my channel. That's about it.
Coupons for Amazon. Oh, I saw smartest Amazon. Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever done one. I think I tried to do one once, but then I don't know if it exactly worked. It was something that was just around forever. I actually tried to like liquidate it on Amazon, and like they just sent an email yesterday saying that like no one wanted it, so I ended up just exposing it. It was like the weirdest thing ever. Like it was at like $5, and like it sells for like 20. I don't know what the issue was. I have a feeling Amazon just lost it. So whatever. No, I've never tried it though. I do think about trying it. Because I do wonder if that having a coupon would like kind of screw around with like repricers, because like you would have a higher price. So maybe you're getting a higher price. This is not factoring in the coupon. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried it almost exactly the same as what you just said. I tried it recently for something old because I saw some Twitter thread about it, but that was probably just them trying to make themselves look smart. It didn't work. It just wasted all my time. So I'm probably not going to do it again.
Was it a like tweet? Was it one of the like tweet ones?
No, I'm never doing one of those. But it was like it was just somebody being like, "This is how I make extra sales," and I don't know. I get roped in too, guys. Okay, although I'm the one talking down, I get roped in. That's probably why I'm so mad about it. I used to like and retweet, and then they'd send me a video just like basically spitting in my face. So whatever.
Yeah, it's used in private label. I used it for my launch, and it's like the philosophy kind of thing, like trying to get, I guess, the psychology of buying and the way that mine worked is only 10% off. And it makes people think, oh, like I'm getting 10% off, like I'm getting it for this price. And then when they go to check it out, they forget to click the coupon. So then I get the stuff for it anyway.
Yeah, that's what Scott Needham said. I think he said, like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but like there is like a very high percentage of people that don't click it or forget to click it or whatever.
I think probably 90% of the people never clicked it. It's still on there too, and I keep getting sales for my exact sale price, so nobody's using it, but it's still on there.
Wow.
Well, maybe I should try that. Yeah, I feel like there's like lots of stuff out there that I would like to try, but like there isn't like a clear path of information. Like I've definitely been like coupons on Amazon, and like what comes up is just even more confusing than like doing it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna table this one. Maybe I'll just have to ask Michaela. She seems to know how to do it. Do you have any tips for vetting a new website before placing, I'm guessing, an order for the first time? I guess in general. I like to actually see if they have a Facebook page and if they actually have like engagement or posting stuff. Everyone says, oh, if they have a phone number, call them. I think that's good advice. I've never done it though. So I'm not going to say to do it because I've never done it. If it looks legit, I feel like that's usually a good sign. I will check prices. So if they're saying it's like $9 and let's say like, I don't know, Dick's Sporting Goods has it for $30, that's kind of like a big red flag for me. Just because like, why is it a third of the price? Images for me, like sometimes the website has like really blurry images, and then anything that has like a block of text below it being like, oh, like it could be a little different than the manufacturer, or like it's like anything like that, it's kind of like a flag for me. But I always use a credit card. This way, if it goes sideways, I just call American Express and tell them not to pay them.
Yeah, another thing you can look, I always look at the About Us page and like see if they have a phone number and Google that phone number, see if it actually goes back to that website, and then look at the address of the place. And then if you can Google the address and they have like an in-store, like a storefront, then that's good. But if you can't find an address anywhere, the phone number is not anywhere, and the company was started this year, then I would definitely avoid that one. But a lot of times, like he said, you just use your intuition. Like if it looks too good to be true, it definitely is.
Yeah, I always use PayPal or credit card.
Yeah, it's always funny. Like some of those websites look sketchy, but it's really just like a family business, and they just don't know how to use the internet or like build a website.
Some people don't care about the website.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I had like a brick and mortar or whatever, like I feel like that was my dad. He's like, who cares? Like everyone's coming in the store. Like we don't need this like other thing. All right, like whatever. Did you leverage any credit cards from the get-go? I did. In terms of leverage, no. I use credit cards because I'm a big believer in credit for like points and protection and stuff like that. But I never spent more than I had in the bank. I never kind of carried balances or any of that stuff. The only time I really did that was in Q4 of this year because I felt like I knew what I was doing and did play out that I did. But yeah, I'm usually not I love the idea of like leveraging other people's money. I don't know. I just have issues with it at times.
I think that's really good advice to don't, especially when you're starting, to not spend more money than you have in your bank, because you just don't want to get into that cycle of debt. Because you can, in reality, I was explaining this to someone. You can just like keep getting these 0% APR cards and keep running up these cards and get your disbursements from Amazon, and you can kind of get in a really rough situation where you don't know exactly if you're losing or making money. Mm-hmm. And then when the time comes where you got to pay these off, it could get really, really bad if you haven't, like if you've over leveraged yourself for no reason. So definitely be careful starting out like that, but use them as a tool, not as a credit.
Yeah. I always recommend starting with like your own money. So use the credit card like a debit card. So if you don't have the funds to match it, then you don't spend it. So if you got $5K in your bank account and you are trying to spend $10K, don't do it. I think it just helps so much, especially when you're first starting out, because you don't really know how the cash flow cycles work for Amazon. It's not like a traditional business, so you do have to wait to get your money back. So it might be 2 months, 6 weeks, longer before you see your money back. So you don't want to be on the other side where it's like 24.99% interest.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize, like, I mean, I've never put myself. Christmas is probably the closest point, but like, it's stressful, and like when you're stressed out, you start making bad decisions. Like, it's not a good place to be in when you're just trying. You're gonna like lower all your prices because like you need the money back. Like, it's just not a good situation to be in. Like, I had some stuff that like was sent in January that actually just started selling today. But like, if I was like over leverage, I'd be like freaking out. But it's like that's how Amazon works sometimes, and like you just gotta roll with
Exactly. You can't control it.
it. Exactly.
Yep. I'll be right back.
Okay.
How is private label different from OA?
Private label is your own brand, or if you don't do a brand, it's your own product. So you basically do however you want. So if you want it to be blue, you can make it blue. If you want your logo to be a tiger, it could be a tiger. And ultimately, you're making yourself money. You're not making somebody else's money. Well, I guess you're still making Amazon and Jeff some money, but
Sure.
You're not making like Nike money. You're not making, Tarte makeup money. You're making yourself money. And at the end, you can sell your brand off for a multiple. And some people end up selling for 7 figures, 8 figures.
Yeah, and online arbitrage, you're just buying stuff for cheap.
Selling.
Yeah, website.
You're just selling. Now, when you're private label, you're selling something of your own that you've made. And even if it's not something that's new to the market and you're just putting your logo on it, that's yours. And like, that's your own brand. So.
Yeah, I definitely am definitely interested in private label maybe down the line, but I don't know. We'll see.
I just caught the tail end of that, but that's actually one of those mental things I was going through the last few weeks. I was like laying in bed one night thinking, I actually provide zero value to society doing OA. Like, you're just charging people like extra money for stuff. A lot of the times we're like, you're not really like helping, but if you like create a private label brand, you have equity, you have like a consumer base, you're actually helping people like resonate with your brand and all this different stuff. That's why it intrigues me a little more than it used to in the past.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, I definitely think you have more just like leverage in general, more control over like what's going on in general. What do you do when you have pending FBA orders from weeks ago that Amazon hasn't shipped? I just leave them there and just hope that Amazon, I think like the refund service that I use eventually like emails or opens a case about it, and then Amazon either puts it back in the inventory or I don't know. They refund me because I feel like half the time it's like lost for the most part. I feel like if that's happening a lot though, if you're using a repricer, maybe you're turning it on too early. So you're getting like sales and your product's like not going to ship for like 3 weeks. So people eventually just like buy someone else's. Maybe like it just sits in pending orders. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, another thing, I don't see this happening much anymore, but I know it used to happen a lot. People ordering like all your product, put it on like a privacy credit card, and just like it's going to be delayed for like 4 weeks if they just keep letting that privacy card charge. So put order limits on your stuff, because if you have like 50 and somebody orders 50 and it's sitting in there and you can't even do anything about that situation you're talking about. So, that's put order limits on so that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Any software that will notify you of a product that comes back in stock on a website. Sometimes you could sign up for email, like notifications saying that you're doing that. Some sites have like you could like favorite items or like put them on like a watch list and they'll notify you that way. I feel like someone said there was a service, but I think it's only for like Walmart. I have no idea what the name of it is though.
I use
Discord that could do something like that.
Yeah, there's Discord services that do that, but I use CNET shopping anyways. It gives you coupon codes and it gives you price comparisons. It's like a pretty good OA tool, and they also let you do price alerts, which I haven't played around with it too much. But back when I was doing more BOLO type of items, I used it then, and I don't even remember if it worked. But CNET shopping, you try that out.
I'll definitely have to look into that. I've never even heard of that.
Either.
Tricks of the trade.
There you go. I noticed most of them are waiting for payment. Yeah, I mean the customer could have gave like a bad card, or I don't know, maybe it's expired, or who knows. I remember like ordering something on Amazon and be like, "Where is it?" And then it was like, "Oh, your card expired." And like I get so many emails now, it's just like I don't know. Like I order something at Amazon and just expect like it's over with. So I mean, maybe that could be the issue. Who knows?
Yeah, like I said, though, if you have a lot of them, that guy, if you have a lot, you might have somebody like trying to like delay your inventory so they can get sales, especially if there's only 2 or 3 sellers on the listing. I would check that out. Make sure you have the order limits. If it's just like 1 or 2 items a month, I'm sure I have a ton like that. I just don't pay attention to it. But if it's happening to a lot of the same product on the same listing, like I would definitely look into that and just put the order limits on.
Is there a way to do it quicker than going into the individual SKU or no?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah. So you'd have to go into the individual SKU, click it. There's like a bunch of things at the top. I think it's like under attributes or something. I forgot where it is. And then it's like order limit, and then you could put in like what you want to limit.
I just do my top selling ones where I have a lot of stock in.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I've done it a little over like Q4. I did it once. I still am selling this thing, and like someone bought 4 of them. I'm like, God damn it! Like, so, but like it turned out like that's like a lot of people buy 4 of it for whatever reason, and I was like, oh okay, like cool, like that's fine. Or like someone bought 3 of like a really expensive item I have, and they paid for it. So I was like, okay, like I guess sometimes like it's not kind of fraud. If you guys won $100 million lottery tomorrow, would you keep doing this? If not, why would you? Or what would you do?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just that like that'd just be crazy to do that. I mean,
I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it.
Yeah, Amazon's fun and stuff, but it's a good way to make money. But if you have that much, I mean, you'd just be throwing like, pennies at that point.
I just buy real estate, buy a bunch of real estate, own basically a town. Like you could animate your city.
Yeah, I would definitely do something like that as well. Or like for me, I would definitely want to still do like kind of like stuff like this or like social or like have a pot like stuff like that. But like yeah, other than that, like yeah. I mean, I think that just like anything else, like it's an amazing business to have because just how easy it is to like it's not easy, but like compared to like getting like a lease for like a brick and mortar and like making stuff, it's much easier than that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you won $100 million too, you'd probably have something in your head like what you'd be doing as well. What's your rule of thumb for determining how many units of an item to purchase? I'm assuming depends on offer count and stock quantity. For me, I've actually been doing a little heavier test buys just because I've been really, not to toot my own horn, but right about a lot of the stuff I've been buying. Eventually, the stuff is going to go down or like the fad kind of goes out. So I kind of want to have more up front. So like when it does go well, like I'm selling out. I actually heard someone say that the other day. Like they basically have been doubling their test buys because they're right more than they are wrong. The upside is so much greater than like if you kind of do a lot of a loser. Like they're like one loser, but if you have 10 winners, like it definitely is much better. So I'm usually doing between like I don't know. If it's like really expensive, like 5. If it's not, probably like 10 to 12, and then kind of just going from there, see if it gets returned, all that good stuff. But it really, for me, it's like the rank and how much is sold. And if the buy box is being rotated, I really don't care how much stock someone has. In most situations, if it's a high volume listing.
Yeah, it's a very like beginner to like intermediate advanced type of like question there. Because if you're a beginner, I would recommend you just get like 3 of everything, so you can just kind of learn the ropes there. But if you're like intermediate, and like he said, if you're right on some of your bets, you can obviously up things a bit. But I usually go based on, the sale. If the sales rank's low, I usually have experience in the category or the brand or whatever, and can kind of base it off of that type of thing. I don't use the estimated sales thing. I did a rant on this the other day. I think those are all like very, very off. People are like, well, I don't want to buy anything under 500 sales a month. Well, there's a ton of scenarios where stuff that's a million rank sells a lot per month. So it's just that stuff's very deceiving. Those like sales estimators. I think it's like a marketing tactic they use. So yeah, you just have to kind of like play around, test small, and then just gather your own data, build your own data. That's better than any data you're going to find is your own data and your own things that you're looking at, and then buy based off that.
Yeah, I'm on something right now that is estimated to sell, I think like 35 a month. I've sold like 30 in the last 2 days. Like I just like sometimes now it's like I know it's like everyone's like, oh, you got to go by the Keepa data or whatever. I'm like, this sells more. Like I just know it sells more than like it's saying. Like there's just no way it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know if that data is like not registered correctly or what, but the more listings I'm looking through with like all the coaching people, I'm like they're like, well, this doesn't look like it sells, and I'm like, I know I've sold that before. I know it sells a lot, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that kind of sales estimate data type of thing, but it's a lot of the times incorrect, and people just want to like take the sales estimate divided by the sellers and you get your number, but that's just never really the case.
I've been definitely buying a lot of stuff like in the 250K range. And like the testing has gone really well. There's only 2 or 3 people on it. Like there's this one brand that sells like crazy, and there's a listing, and there's only like 2 people on it. I was like, yeah, only 10 of these. I was like, there's no way in hell. Only 10. Like, it's just not possible. Like, it's the only like thing that's like on Amazon. It's not a duplicate listing. Like, and that's the only one. I'm like, if people are buying so much of this, like this is like their main product. They're definitely buying this. And like so far so good.
Yeah, my answer is never like straightforward. It honestly depends. Some people have like a certain equation and they're like, yeah, like this amount, this many sellers, this blah blah. No. I used to do that and then I realized like I just waste my time. I honestly with wholesale now, it's a little bit different, but I usually just do like the MOQ, but if the MOQ is so high that it is above the amount of sales per month, then I usually don't do it unless I feel confident I could sell it within like 6 weeks. I don't really like holding inventory for very long. But yeah, like I just do the MOQ and then kind of test it out. And then from there, that's when I make my decision based on how fast it sold. If it sells pretty fast, then, I know I can add on. If it doesn't, then I may just keep it at whatever that MOQ was, or I might just replace it with a different one that sells better.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like advice to go by, but for me recently, I've literally just want to know if the buy box is being shared. I'm doing a test buy. Like, I don't care what, like, it's estimated. I'm not like, oh, there's like 10 sellers. Divide. Like, no, I'm not doing any of that stuff. Like, I just want to see if it sells first and how quickly it sells versus everyone else on the listing, because I've tried to play that game before and like, the math just never seems to work out. So I just basically, if I buy like 10, it goes well. I'll buy 20 or 30, depending. If that goes well, who knows? Maybe like 60 to 100. Just really depends on like what's going on and what the listing looks like. Are you or any of you investing in the S&P 500 / total stock market at all?
Go buy a house.
There you go. I have like a Roth IRA that I deposit the max to every year. So I don't know, whatever the max is divided by 12 is what I put in there every month.
That's wise.
Yeah, I'm not big into that kind of stuff. I have decent amount in there, but I don't know, not like too big. I feel like you can use your money in better ways, but that just depends on your risk tolerance and your capability as a business person in general, really.
Yeah, it's like kind of like I used to be like really into the stock market when I was in college, and I had like stock. Like it was always fun to follow, but like I don't know, as I've gotten like older, I'm just like, like whatever. Like it is cool to see like how much like the Roth has grown since I started it, but then it's like, wow, I can make more money kind of doing Amazon. And after like that bank crashed, I'm like, well, maybe Amazon's like actually more stable. Like these financial institutions are like, I feel like too, like everyone's like, oh, what happens if your Amazon account you get suspended? And it's like, well, what happens if the bank says you can't take any of your money out? Like it's the same shit. It's just different.
And it's probably more likely that your little hometown bank goes down than Amazon goes down. I mean, really, like there have been more banks going down than I've heard of more banks doing that kind of thing than sellers getting suspended recently. So your odds are pretty low.
Yeah, someone the other day said to me that they were quitting because it's too risky because Amazon like keeps your money and this and that. And I was just like, everyone keeps your money. Like if you work for someone, your boss keeps the money. If you sell coaching or whatever platform, they keep the money. If you use PayPal, they have like you're waiting on them. You're always waiting on someone. Like I don't know. That's my answer to that. Like someone always has your money. What would be the best way to start tracking inventory you purchase? I'm assuming a Google sheet that you'd import into Inventory Labs. Inventory Labs will actually just track your inventory for you and your buy costs and all that stuff. But yeah, I have a Google sheet that's kind of like connected to SellerAmp, where I just put everything I buy and kind of just add all the information that I need in there.
Yeah, I've been really bad about it, like honestly, throughout the whole journey. But I don't really track my individual purchases that much. Usually, it's either on my prep center sheet or whatever. But aside from that, I'm trying to get to where I'm exporting the data right to a spreadsheet and then put it in something. But time will tell, I suppose, on that one.
Yeah, my VA has a spreadsheet. He's super good with organization. He made us all new sheets whenever I hired him. So he does all of the sheets, and they're just so perfect. Like before he started work with me, I had a Google sheet, but then I got really lazy, and then I'd put some of them on there, and then I'd forget, and then I'd be like, I'll do that tomorrow, and then tomorrow became never. And then we were going back through trying to update my cost of goods, and he's like, hey, do you know how much this was? And I was like, I'm digging the receipts here, man. So yeah, definitely have some kind of sheet.
Yeah,
you definitely need it.
Yeah, I think that too. Like you're gonna need it eventually. Like for me, I just have the sheet because my prep center uses one. So like I want like a base to like copy and paste from, I guess. So it just makes it easier in the long run. Thoughts on suppressed buy boxes? Anytime gone to Amazon to see if they can ensure it's priced competitively and have a buy box. Thoughts on suppressed buy box? Anytime. I don't have any issue. I'm not sure about the second part, but I don't have any issue selling on suppressed buy boxes. I've actually made a lot of money on suppressed buy boxes. For me, that's usually Amazon saying like the price is way too high, which in some circumstances could be good for you. Other circumstances, I don't know. It just really depends, but I don't know. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, the only two scenarios to where I would just be a little more cautious on suppressed buy boxes, because I sell them all the time. But one is if you use a repricer, you got to make sure you have specific settings to where when that buy box gets suppressed, your repricer is not trying to pull you down to like create a buy box, or it's not maxing you out because it can't understand that. I've had that happen a few times where I just get a high price error because it was suppressed and there were no FBA sellers or something, I guess, and it would just shoot it up to the max, which usually doesn't happen on normal listings. So repricing, that's an issue. And then I've been seeing this more in the last few months, and I've never saw this before. some of these suppressed buy boxes, you'll have all these sellers that are like 0 reviews or like 100 reviews with 1-star ratings, and they're drop shipping or whatever. And you're just never going to compete with them on a suppressed buy box. Because if there's like 2 or 3 of them, they're going to match each other all the way down to the bottom because they're just trying to make a penny when you like have to make your like specific ROI that you're waiting to reach. So pay attention to like who are on these listings and what's the history of these sellers. I was looked the other day at a suppressed buy box, and somebody was below like $5-6, and they had 600 reviews, and it was 3% positive. And I don't know how they were still on Amazon. I looked at the reviews, and it was all never received the item, never shipped the item, all that stuff. But if they're allowing stuff like that, you just can't compete, and it's going to be really hard for you to sell your stuff because the average person looking at their phone, they might not even see those bad reviews or whatever. They might just pick the lowest price and get it.
Yeah, I have a decent amount. Well, not anymore, but I had. I'm like low on inventory. People that probably know what my store is, they're probably like, she doesn't sell anything. Well, it's because I'm running low on inventory, so don't be capping over there.
Michaela's fake. She's gonna.
It's been really bad. Like, this month, honestly, has been the worst month in the history of my entire Amazon store. Just multiple things, and then like my inventory is so low because Amazon has over $175,000 worth of inventory in transit.
And we preach all this stuff on negating risk and being like good with your money, and then you just said that, and then you buy a house the same day. That's kind of crazy, but that's fair. Yeah. Tell about your risk tolerance.
Yeah,
I bought it online at an auction.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always that. Like, yeah, Amazon had like almost 80K tied up for me. Like the last, I don't know. It finally like kind of broke through. But yeah, another thing with that, like if there's usually a suppressed buy box, usually compete with the merch fulfilled price as well. So make sure that's kind of like in line or makes sense for what you're trying to do. Do you guys incentivize your VAs for good leads or just a basically hourly wage? I used to just give them a basic hourly wage. For the new one I had, I was going to like put something together, but then I had to fire him yesterday because he just wasn't doing a good job. So I don't know. It's Oscar, I forgot what his Instagram is. I kind of like what he has. So like if they submit a lead and he buys it, he'll pay them the potential profit for that lead, and give it to them weekly. And then like if he replenishes it or whatever, he doesn't have to like really bonus that out. But like up front, like let's say they found you like 10 leads worth like $3, like to give them $30 of that, I feel like that's a nice little bonus for them and incentive up front. And then, you know, if you replenish or whatever, like if you're just paying them once, like I don't really see an issue with that. So I kind of might implement that next time around.
Yeah, I've messed with a few different things, and this is going to sound pretty rough, but the best result that I had was I had 3 at one time, and I just put them all in like a Discord chat, and I was like, listen, guys, the one that finds me the best lead this week is going to get a bonus, and they're going to get a day off. Like make it very competitive, just because you can incentivize somebody with just money, you know, like if you find this lead, you get extra or whatever, but that also kind of incentivizes them to go find a leads list or go network with another VA to try to find like the best product that they can at the time. But, you know, I would look over like a time frame and be like, whoever's got the best one gets all these rewards. So I put them in like a very competitive environment, but also fired 2 of them. So maybe that didn't work, but at the time they were cranking out good leads. But yeah, I recommend just to treat them like people. You know, a lot of people treat these VAs like they're objects, but
yeah,
just treat them like people. You know, if they like positive things, tell them positive things about them. If you can see them reacting well when you're like, why aren't you finding stuff? Then be a little harder on them. And if they like money, then do that. If they like days off so they can spend more time with their family, you can incentivize them a lot of different ways than just money. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. But if you just treat them like a human, it'd just be like if somebody was working for you in the States.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like in the end, you're running like a company. It might not feel like that, but like, yeah, if you have employees, like all of a sudden it's like, you know, if they have a family, like they're relying on your money to like kind of support that family and stuff like that. And I feel like if you've never worked a job, I mean, I don't know. But like if you have, like, just think about how like you were kind of like incentivized. I mean, corporate America is kind of like screwed up in that way. But like just like, oh, like if you were doing the job, like how would you want to be compensated? And then kind of go from there maybe.
I need to look into incentives for mine. Right now, they've only been working for me for maybe 4 months now, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're still pretty new, but eventually I'd like to do some incentives. It's always nice to treat people with respect, even though there's some people out there that really think that they're just so far superior than their VAs, and they just treat them like garbage. And I absolutely hate that, because my VAs, like, we're a team. Like, without me, they wouldn't have a job, and without them, I wouldn't be doing as well as I am. So like we work together. It's not just an I. There's no I in team. So I always try to do some nice things for them. Like for Christmas, I gave them a paid week off. And then I also, if they need some time off for like some things like health, like one of my VA's brothers is in the hospital with appendicitis. And I was like, no, go, like, don't worry. And then they just make it up. And whatever time they have over, then they just make up the time that they missed. And I'm not like super hard on them. Like, oh my God, you have to work every single Monday through Friday from this time to this time. That's not how we do business. So, and then they just asked about doing, this is kind of cool. They got together and created they're going to do like a little vacation, like camp thing with all of my VAs, all 3 of them. And they're going to go hang out and bond and like talk about Amazon and like spend time with their families and stuff. So that they'll be doing that next week, I think.
That sounds like a much better. It sounds like a much better answer than me saying just put them in the boiler room and make them. But you can take either strategy. That sounds.
There's no right or a wrong way. I'm just very gentle, I guess.
Yeah.
But I am strict when it comes time. Like if you know what I mean? Like if you're not up to par and you're really slacking, like I will cut you. But if you do really well and we just vibe, then I won't be too hard on you.
That's kind of how I was with this last one, where it was like, I don't know, it was like they kind of showed potential, but then they were just like showing up and like we'd meet every morning and like I would like coach them, all the stuff. And like they'd only bring like 1 or 2 leads or like sometimes nothing. I was like, bro, like you have 8 hours. Like this is ridiculous. Like I don't know what the answer is to that, but like I don't know. I just didn't see the effort.
I've thought about this a lot lately too on how you can approach this VA situation, and I've started thinking like they live like near each other. It's not like you're just each person lives in a remote land, so they have to be talking to each other. Like, hey, I'm a VA for this Amazon guy. Are you? Let's just share these leads. Or like, well, let's do this. This is going to help us like get paid the maximum amount of money with the least amount of effort. I mean, they're a human, so they're probably thinking, how can I work the least and get paid the most? So they might have multiple people on. I've known multiple people that catch like VAs working for 3 or 4 of them because they can make like a hefty amount of money doing that. So you have to. I'm just not too big on like getting a VA in general just to like source for you that like I just don't think it's going to turn out as well as you think, which some people it works out for, but for the majority, I hear the same story every time. Like what he just said, like they found like 1 or 2 a day. Like there's clearly more going on behind the scenes. It's not like you just found the one guy that's too incompetent to find like a lead in 8 hours. It's just there's always something going on behind the scenes, and it just makes sense. I mean, they probably are just talking about it. Like, how can we get a bunch of money from these American people?
Yeah, like I was like joking the other day in the Discord that there's definitely probably like a guru in the Philippines that's saying that like you could just buy a leads list and get 5 clients and then send the same or get like a couple leads lists and then like mix and match the leads or whatever and run this formula in Excel to format it and all this stuff, and you could work like an hour a day and like get paid by 5 people and be like a millionaire.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's probably some guy on Instagram like
I might just do that actually. I might like figure out how to like make that work.
It's interesting.
And then I could refer out. I'd be like, here's 5 people you could go target.
And start a pyramid scheme. You gotta really know.
When sending with LTL, do I have to have the boxes at under 50 pounds as standard shipping, or can I make them more than 50 pounds? I think they have to be under 50.
I don't personally send my LTL out. My prep center does it for me. So
I was just worried about their workers lifting boxes more than 50 pounds. So I would guess, yeah, they'd have to be under. What's your favorite summer category items to start stocking up on? I don't know.
I'll give some alpha. I'll give you 3 things you can look at. You can look at pools if you have the capacity to ship heavy things. And just because everybody says that pool season's over or whatever, it was big during COVID, there's still going to be opportunity there. It's just like any other category. There's going to be stuff that sells out. There's no way that every single pool has the demand met for it. So look at pools. Look at flip-flops. That's a pretty obvious one. And look at inflatables for pools. Those are usually pretty cheap to ship. And there's usually every year I've noticed there's some inflatable that pops off on TikTok or whatever, and it like does well. There's like one that was like a big flamingo, and it was selling for like a 4x markup. So
I was gonna say that the flamingo or the swan.
Yeah. So inflatables, pools, flip-flops, all that stuff. I would check it out and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, I feel like that's
school.
Oh, back to
I went really hard on back to schools. That's where all my money was at when summer started.
Yeah, back to school is definitely a good one to go at. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm not like super seasonal heavy. I'm trying to like be able just to sell year round. But yeah, I definitely take advantage of seasonal opportunities. Probably should get better at that. But how many categories should you go deep into scale 100K sales months? I don't know. It's necessarily category based. You just need to have inventory in any category. Yeah, I don't know for that.
Yeah, there's no answer to that. I mean, you can be in one category, you can be in 80. It doesn't really matter. It's like whatever's making you money, just keep, working in that category, working in that brand, working in that niche. You don't have to have a bunch of them. Don't feel pressured to go, get into a bunch of categories. You can make loads of money in one category.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is like make sure that you understand the category. Like you're gonna go 100K deep in apparel, just realize you're gonna have the 20% return rate. So make sure you have that factored in.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone always asks that, like, how many categories? What kind of what category should I sell? What's the best selling categories? And that is so subjective. Like we all here sell different things. We don't all sell the same stuff, and we all are very successful. So like, it doesn't matter really what you sell as long as it's profitable.
Yeah, and like to go on that too, it's like I understand. I feel like. I mean, this is not a knock on this person or whatever, but I feel like everyone wants to scale to like 100K a month or like that's like a huge like undertaking. Like that's going to take like some employees. Like I feel like sometimes it's like portrayed as like an easy thing to do. Like I would say you should I would rather say you shoot for like 100K profit a month or 20 or 30K profit a month, because sales could be like super deceiving and doesn't necessarily equal to a success. Like you can't like pay your mortgage with sales. Like you need profits.
Yeah, and you kind of, or with everybody like posting big orange bars on social media and stuff, and you just like everybody thinks they need to scale up really quickly. It's kind of insane to think like, to get to 100K a month is $1.2 million a year. You're running a 7-figure like $1 million business, and then when you break that down, you're probably making like 150 grand a year. So that's like a really tall task. It's not like easy. So a lot of people want like the best and the quickest way to get there, but you're just asking to reach like an extremely tall task. Like people go to school for years to make that amount of money. So if you have to wait another 6 months or a year to like learn extra stuff, that's not a problem, because you could be in school for 8 and still be making like 100 grand a year.
That is really true. Hey, Michaela, any way to reach your prep center? It has been 2 weeks and have not heard from them.
Yeah, we don't take new applications until the first of the month. Just gives us, it's just way easier for us just to onboard everybody at one time. instead of like onboarding it multiple times a month. So we're going to be onboarding next week.
So it seems like tomorrow would be an ideal time to reach out because that's the first.
I think Ricky's hiring more staff tomorrow, so it may not be tomorrow. It may be Monday because we obviously have to have employees to take on more clients. So.
I actually love like your approach to this. You're not like, we'll get right on. You're like, no.
No,
this is how we work. Like if you don't like it, like.
No, like I'm very blunt. Like I'll just tell you how it is. Like the reason why we haven't reached out to you is because we onboard the first of the month. Like that's how it is.
Those VAs are going to be bound by taking.
I don't think they follow me on Instagram.
I have like 3 accounts with each website, and sometimes they still link my accounts with one another. I use all different internet connections and payment methods, and billing has different apartment number. I am 100% convinced that like it doesn't matter. Like they just know your data. Like all these companies, like I've tried to do like live sourcing videos, like logged out of like Target and Walmart and even like in an incognito window, like my like Walmart store still pops up, like stuff I recently viewed still pops up. Like I'm like 100% convinced like they know like everything about you. And yeah, I don't know, some sites are easier to get around than others, but like I've been in incognito windows lately that used to work where like you could just push multiple orders through, but now they're like canceling it. So I just think they know everything about you.
Yeah, I got banned from Nike like a year and a half ago because I ordered like way too much at one time, and I waited like a few months to try again, and then I tried to switch up the address, and I paid some idiot on Twitter like $1,000 to get like a get around it method. That didn't even work. So then I was like, I'm just going to be a whole different human. I just went to a family member's house and just did it all on their computer, like new information everywhere. And they still canceled my order somehow. I guess it was like somehow the shipping addresses linked together or whatever. And then like, I don't know. I think if you run into that kind of issue where you have to jump through all these hurdles to do it, it's probably best to just leave it. I haven't even tried to order from Nike in a year and a half, although there's been good sales and stuff. It's just not even worth your time to just butt your head against the wall about it.
That's crazy talk. You could be a successful seller not buying at Nike.
Sometimes.
Crazy talk.
What? I was today 8 years old when I found this out.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's like kind of just one of those things where like I was always like a big like proponent. Like even when I got the second Amazon account, like I bought a whole new computer to do so. Like a cheap one, like for like $180 or whatever on Amazon, like some garbage computer. But like, yeah, I just think they know way too much, and that I think it's just hard too because like your credit card stuff, like the shipping address is probably going to be the same, so it's really hard to navigate around that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'd rather just support businesses that like want my money and don't, because as you scale up too, like you can't be like taking like 30 minutes to check out like 20 items. Like it's just not practical or worth it.
Yeah, and that probably seems like crazy at the moment to think of that because if you're a small scale, it's probably like, wow, how can it not be worth my time? But eventually, you get to the point where your time's just not worth it to do like that. Check out 20 items in 30 minutes. It's just not worth it. Which you'll get to that point eventually. But if you have the time and the capacity to do it, then try to get around it. But you like grow out of that, I guess.
Yeah, and you also have to, on the flip side of that too, like when they start canceling, it just creates a whole new headache to like have to deal with, and like, yeah. Startup FBA, not a question. If you read this, you're awesome. Sweet.
Like love.
So this is a question that someone posted in our Discord the other day that we never answered. They said, I want to spend $10K a month on the Amex Platinum with like a 54-day cycle. How much cash flow would you say I'd need to cover that, given the time of delivery and shipped into Amazon, and then pay the bill end of the following month. Do you use the Amex Platinum and have any advice scaling using Amazon? Has not always purchased the full 10K. The first week could be forcing. Yeah, so for me, I don't have a platinum. I have the gold. I think I'm gonna get one though.
Don't.
I don't even use my gold that much.
Just get that Capital One Spark. That thing's better anyways.
Yeah, all right, maybe I'll do that.
They're denying me. They hate me.
Wait,
I think I already have a Capital One card, so that probably shouldn't be that
I
hard
tried
to
for the
get.
2% card for I don't know how many months.
the Platinum, all it does is it's an extremely high yearly fee, which you can get it waived if you like bitch to the customer service. But I don't really like doing that kind of stuff. So all you get's that access to the lounges. So if you're not traveling all the time, even if you are traveling all the time, I just went on a trip and I didn't even have time to go to the lounge. Like I don't want to have time to go to the lounge, so I'm not gonna like make time to go waste my time. That just so.
Why your Instagram following is so small, Drew? You're not posting lounge pictures.
You know, I'll get on. All right.
He's just gonna like apply to work at an airport lounge and just take pictures all day.
But on that question, that was I got lost halfway through it. But if you want to, I don't really know the technical details to something like that. 10K, I don't know. That's just a lot.
I feel like, so for this, I feel like if you're trying to like the credit rotation and stuff like can be important and all that stuff. But if you're trying to like base spend on like cycles, like you almost have the wrong mindset about this. Like it should just be about like spending money you have, taking the money you make and reinvesting it. Like I feel like if you're trying to plan around credit cycles, like 54 days cycle, like I would say if you're being like optimistic and realistic, like you're getting your money back from Amazon in like 60. And that's if nothing goes wrong. Like everyone likes to say, oh yeah, in like 30 days, or like if I merchant fulfill, it's like, yeah, like possibly, like, there's still issues with that, or like, some people have daily payouts, which obviously helps, but like I don't know. I think it's like a real bad plan to almost try to spend and make like based on like a credit card cycle.
Yeah, that's like a way more advanced thing to where if you get really, really good OA or like wholesale and you somehow can like pay your supplier with a credit card, that's more of a thing to think about. But if you're trying to spend 10K a month, you're probably not like extremely, extremely advanced anyway. So I would worry about that more maybe when you get to like spending 100K or 200K a month, because then you can kind of strategically plan around that and you have more back end data to support like what your decision is going to be, rather than like listening to us or like trying to figure it out yourself. It's because it's just a very complicated topic to do that kind of stuff.
I'm terrible at like obviously you have to be somewhat good at math like to do this, but like when it comes to stuff like that or like projecting out, I'm just more like I spent this much, there's this much in the bank, like things are going well.
Same.
Like that's how I do it. Like there's money, I have money to pay the credit card or like whatever the situation may be. Like that's how I judge it. I'm not trying to do these like crazy projections or I don't know, whatever else.
Yeah, I don't get too. I just want to make sure I get my card paid off and I don't spend too much money towards the end of the cycle.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Those are my payments.
Yeah, just always use it responsibly.
Yeah,
there's like people who are posting like their credit card statements, like they're so high or kind of gone.
But it's crazy. The new thing is like to post your like reimbursement service showing that you suck at handling your inventory, and then to post your massive credit card bill where they've limited you, which they would only do if you've spent a lot and not paid it off quick enough. Like it just gets lots of engagement because they're big numbers, but those things aren't something to like look up to, that you have like 300K in debt that you like could have explode on you, and that you could have like 60K of lost inventory that you like do not know how to reconcile before, that you're going to have some company take 15 grand from you to tell you that. That's just really an insane flex. But like, yeah, don't look too much into people doing that stuff. What is it?
Weird flex, but okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I'm thinking too. It's like it's just interesting. I feel like lately it's just these like little pieces of information. We're just like, wait a second, like this person totally did not think this through because like what they're saying means X, Y, Z, and like that's not a flex. That's actually the opposite.
Yeah, but I flexed my credit card bill one month on Twitter or whatever, and it got like a ton of likes. I'm like, what? How stupid is that? Like that. This is. I'm very irresponsible.
Things get the best engagement, and then the stuff that's really good, genuine advice just gets left in the dust.
Yeah, like I actually took the time to write like this like really I thought it was a good thread, maybe it wasn't, about like how to hire a prep center and all this stuff. It got like nothing. I like post some like snarky thing and like it goes crazy. I don't get it.
Yep.
Pull that bottom question up. I have so many people ask me this recently since I've been doing these podcasts. Everybody thinks I think it's because one, I'm perpetually tired because I work way too long and I don't sleep enough. Two, I don't know. I don't smoke weed at all. I'm like very anti-weed. I think it makes you like a very unproductive human. If you sorry if you like smoke weed or whatever to anybody that's listening, but I think it's very, very bad for you. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just like tired all the time. My eyes are always closed. But everyone says that.
That's
Very anti-weed, very pro booze if you like to drink, but you know.
Yeah. Well, doesn't your like profile picture have like you blowing smoke or something?
Yeah, that doesn't help. Yeah, that's the picture has to be like, that's a cigar though. Like that's another reason people think. I got on a call with someone. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were just going to be a pothead." And I'm like, "No, I'm like the exact opposite of that. I seem chill most of the time, but you get me on enough caffeine, I don't look like that at all."
Of course.
But yeah, I get that. That's like the biggest response I've got from going on these things. I'm like, no, man.
Maybe do a Twitter poll, see what everyone says. I'd probably get a ton of engagement.
Yeah,
Probably.
Ironically, I'm just super anti-weed, which is very, very funny.
Well, that's like an also like funny thing. I feel like engagement on Twitter is almost kind of like orange bars. It's like, oh, like this got so much engagement. It's like, who cares? Like most of those people, like all these like retweet people, like all those people in the comments, if you're trying to like get customers or something, they're not going to be good customers.
Yeah,
They're trying to get this like free garbage. Like I do not want clients like that. Like those are going to be the worst clients to work with.
yeah. I think there's like two strategies you can take with this. I've like realized that you can take that like shotgun approach to where you just like fire out terrible content to the masses that like get those eyes, and you can do something like low ticket where you're just like getting the average person to be like sucked into it or whatever for like not much money. But if you want like good people to like buy your stuff, if you're selling anything at all, you're gonna have to be like real and authentic and not just pump engagement. It's just like not the way that works. Like I know guys that have like 700 Twitter followers that make a load of money off their Twitter because they just have an audience that resonates with what they're saying. They don't just fire off engagement stuff and get all these random people following them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And yeah, it's funny. So like Instagram, like I got like the blue check mark or whatever because like I'm tired of dealing with all these like spam profiles. Like it's definitely worth it. I got a text from someone like who's like pretty big in like the industry. Like, how'd you get that check mark? And then in the how do you get the check mark? How do you get like everyone wants to know how to get this check mark? It's
You
like
just have to be put on the wait list. I've been waiting for like a couple weeks and I finally just got mine. And I hate it so much that they make you change your profile picture to like one that's, and then they make you change your name.
Yeah, so like I did it and like it worked, and within 15 minutes they approved me, and everyone's like DM me like, how do you get a check mark? I was like,
mine still hasn't been approved. Maybe they think I'm fake.
Do you apply for that kind of thing, or they just reach out to you? You guys are much bigger than me, so I don't know.
You apply for it. So like if you go to your business dashboard, like there was a message. It was just like, hey, do you want to like do this thing? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, all right. Like, I saw Rakin post about it. He's like, oh, I got the blue check mark. So I went into my profile and I was like, oh, what is this? And then I just clicked it, like, I don't know, charging my Apple or whatever every month. And then Yeah, within, I don't know. You had to take a picture. I had to take a picture of my license.
I forgot to take a picture of my driver's license. That's why mine hasn't been verified.
Michaela's like, screw Instagram. It's like, you didn't follow the directions.
I didn't follow the directions. I was just contemplating whether or not I wanted to put all of my information out there.
It's just your name, though.
I know, but that's my name. Nobody knew what my name was. Well, some people actually did.
True. I knew your name, but I mean.
Yeah, that's a decent thing to think about. Just so like not every random person knows like you're exactly all that stuff.
I feel like my name is already all, because I had a career blog prior to this, and like it was basically like I use my name for everything. So like there's stuff out there for around that. But
people messaging me fake accounts. So I'm just like, I don't want to hear about fake accounts anymore. I'm just gonna do it.
That's mainly why I did it. It was not
missing. Why?
Just crazy the amount of people that have like reached out. It was just like, how'd you get that? I don't know. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not as famous as you guys, so I don't even care that much. Maybe one day.
Well, anyone who like writes that, I've been telling them like I'm a legit influencer. That's how I got it.
I'm gonna start saying that once I get mine.
Yeah, I'll be like, nah, I'm legit, I guess. Little blue checkbox.
Only cost you $14.99.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Do you guys have any more questions? I thought I had something that I wanted to say. I can't think of what it was though. Something about Twitter. I don't know.
Oh, so much you can talk about there, man. I've got to the point where I'm just like can't even get on Twitter anymore. It really is just all engagement spam. Like it's crazy how it's just so hard to get on at all. And I'm muting so many people. My mute list is like 150, 200 accounts long. And I'm muting words. I'm trying my best. What is it?
So John's on it, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he's one of the few that isn't. Like it's just like people that are just post this engagement spam content all the time. It's crazy. It makes it unbearable to even look through it. I mean, it just never stops. Everyone does it nonstop. It's like they're not even using it. They all have it automated, I guess. So I guess it makes sense. But yeah, that's not. I'm not like that at all. It's very.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I looked into this. If you heard like Tweet Hunter, like everyone was like talking about it. Like I looked into it. I'm just like, oh, like this is like where all the tweets are coming from.
Wait, so what? I've heard about it. Like, what does it do?
So like Tweet Hunter, I don't know a ton about it. I just like kind of looked through it. Basically, like AI generates these tweets for you. So you could type in like Amazon FBA, and then it will write a tweet for you about like Amazon FBA. And like all this like stuff. Or you could put a tweet in there that like did well, and then it will like write a similar tweet to that. And that's what I think everyone's using.
Oh,
that's because like I'll like read like some of the things in Twitter. I'm like, that was definitely in like the Tweet Hunter dashboard. Like when you said like, I was just like to play around with it. I don't use it, but I was like, huh, interesting. But I think they do the automatic response whenever you say, oh, like type money or whatever. I think Tweet Hunter is able to like auto DM or I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten like automated or something. I'll see. This has been killing me too. Is every time I post some take about whatever, I'll just see someone, they'll like literally like it and then just write the same thing like the next day. And I'm like, dude, like go outside, like do some stuff, like get some experience or something. Like everything, people just like copy everybody else's stuff, and it's just you're just regurgitating like the same information over and over and over. It's just unbearable.
Well, there's one person on Instagram. I'm not going to say who it is, but basically my girlfriend, like, I don't know what happened. She was on Instagram and like one of these people's posts popped up, I guess, as like a recommendation. She's like, I think this was like your Instagram post. I'm like, what are you talking about? And like, sure enough, like she had like word for word, like tweets that like were my Instagram posts.
No way.
Like they're all like throughout her profile, like really like specific stuff. Like there was ones like, oh, how to explain like Amazon FBA to your friends. Like, oh, if you're at like a sporting event and a beer is $12.50, like word for word, not even like, oh, a beer is like $14 or like if you're at a baseball, like word for word. And then she did one of Oscars. And then like I'm like reading through her profile. I was like, I've seen all this stuff. Like I know exactly who these are. And I'm just like, this is like at least change it around a little bit.
That's nuts.
All right, we'll wrap it up after this. How do you I'm guessing that means how do you reconcile inventory?
That's difficult.
Yeah.
It's very long-winded. I know, Braden, I think you're in Arbitrage Ops. They have a lot of good information on that stuff to like reconcile your inventory and deal with returns and deal with like lost inventory. That's for anybody here that needs to deal with that more technical side of stuff, I would highly recommend Arbitrage Ops. If you decide to join, you can go to my Instagram and sign up for my affiliate link because I need the money. I'm very poor. So yeah, if you feel bad, you can do that.
Yeah, that's how Drew makes his money, really. Arbitrage Ops affiliate. That's not just Arbitrage Ops is an amazing group. There's nothing about them.
Oh yeah, I've only sold one affiliate for it ever, but I've told like 150 people.
I tell people all the time. I actually don't even. I just like their group so much that I just like tell them to go there. I don't really.
There's nothing like it in all of Amazon like community that I've seen. Like nothing even close to the value that they.
That's like a different level type of.
Yeah. And it's for anybody. If you're a straight beginner, they'll answer your questions. If you're an extremely advanced seller, they'll answer your questions there. Very good community, lots of resources. Just all around, like all you really need if you're just wanting to spend a little bit of money to like learn a lot of stuff about Amazon.
How much of a community you have between other sellers and share leads, learning, etc.? I don't know. I feel like I used to have a bigger one, but now it's definitely smaller. I don't know. It's goes in phases, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough when there's like a big everybody preaches network, but it's very difficult to network a lot of the times. Like I talk to John a lot, but like we never even talk about leads or anything like that because it's difficult for like the velocity to sustain on some of this stuff. Like we were talking about 250K rank item. Like what if he sends it to me and I buy like way more? And, if I end up leaking it to somebody else, it's difficult to share leads like that a lot of the time. So I'm more for your networking for the learning. I might send somebody a lead and be like, how many would you buy of this? And like break down how many you buy, why, and then I'll just learn from that. Or like, what do you think about this brand? Or have you sold this? Just to learn stuff like that. But sharing leads, you have to keep that very, very small. And people will snake you absolutely too. You might be feeding somebody leads for like 2 months and they just might not ever send you anything. And that happens a lot.
They'll like ransack your store too.
Yeah.
Just nothing that's happened to me. It's something happened to me all the time.
Yeah. I mean, people are just snakes. And a lot of times, I mean, you're here in this like YouTube channel wanting to learn, like you're obviously like putting in the work. Like I wouldn't network with somebody that's just not putting any effort into it. You just give them a bunch of stuff. Like clearly you're putting in effort right now. So, you're providing value off the rip. You're listening to information.
Yeah, I definitely agree there.
I used to have a bigger community. That's honestly before I started doing wholesale, and then kind of just lone wolfed it. I don't know. I just kind of just do my own thing now.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I mean, it's good to network, and it's good to have a network around you, but it's difficult to network like everybody says.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a time and place like to do that stuff, and like I don't know. Yeah, I also will say like I've definitely like when sharing leads with people, it's just I don't know. I feel like you just have to be on like almost like very similar paths. Like I've definitely shared leads with people in the past, and the leads they send, I'll be like, "What is this person doing? Like this is just not." But maybe that works for them. Like it's not saying like I don't know. So like it's always kind of a difficult thing to do, and I don't know.
If you get somebody around your level of sales or maybe a little bit above you, and you provide some real value to them, and you provide a good lead, and somebody that you kind of talk to or you hear that has a good reputation, they might fire you one back that'll like change your whole life. You might be able to make a ton of money off of it or whatever. But just be careful, just like networking for the sake of it, because it's like a buzzword.
Yeah, and then I will say that too. If like someone sends you a lead, because this happened to me, like they totally baited me. Like it was a decent lead, and I was like, all right, like I'll do a test buy, and then like 2 weeks later, they bought like half my store. I'm like, shit.
What?
Yeah, I was like, damn it. Like I did not expect that, but did not. Then I was like, of course, like if he like you could just look on who came on the listing like lately or whatever or recently, and like I don't know, we all know like certain things about each other from different like pieces or podcasts, and like it's like crazy how many people's like Instagram is actually like their storefront or like a piece of it or whatever. Yeah, so be careful when you do that kind of stuff. All right, we'll make this the last question. What are the best websites that you guys use in terms of avoiding order cancellations? I don't know, like the best in terms of avoiding. There's like just so many websites. I mean, you could use Walgreens, you could use Walmart. I don't know. It's really kind of like you just have to test them out. I probably ordered like a lot from Target last year. I know people who place one order and they get banned for life. I mean, it just really depends on like what you're doing. Like, are you like doing shady stuff and like using different credit cards and billing or catch all? Like, it just really depends. The best way to do it is just, search. I would say like if you're going to a new site for the first time, definitely try to act like a normal human, maybe by like 3 to 5, to try to like warm it up a little bit. Even though that's annoying, it's probably the best way. I've had some coaching students like go on websites that like I could definitely order like 40, 50, 100 from without a problem. They ordered 10 and like they canceled it because they were just like brand new and they thought it was fraud. So I don't know. That's my answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I'm out of the OA world, but I used to do like Walmart, Walgreens, Kohl's.
Yeah.
Honestly, I never had any like real issue with Target, but I know a lot of people who have.
Same here.
I'm banned from like half the sites on the internet. I don't know. I think I was just too like dumb at the beginning of not warming it up, and I would just go in and place a bunch of orders. So I'm banned from like everything there is, like Shoe Carnival, Nike, Hibbett, just like all these big ones that I'm just never going to be able to order from again. But it's just part of it. You got to find websites that like want you to order. If they want your business, you want their business. That's a good way to look at it.
Agreed. All leads are created equal since everyone's. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, this happened to be this morning. I bought 170 of something, which is like way over what I would normally buy. Like I spent like 20 grand. Sent it to somebody else. He bought 250. I sent it to somebody else, and he bought 500 to 1,000. So it's like a lot of money can be spread. Just and those sellers were like, I'm at like 2-3 mil. Somebody's at like 5-6 mil. The other guy's like 15 mil. So we end up spending like a lot of money on something like that. But everybody just looks at it way differently.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What are the limits with card cash? I've never had an issue with them. You should just reach out to customer support and see what the issue is. All right, guys. I think we'll call it here. Drew, thanks for being here. Always fun. And yeah, we'll probably be here next Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys, I always enjoy these. You guys are cool to talk to, so always fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. Have a good weekend, guys.
Guys.
Peace. We'll see you next week.